AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Tigers on the practice field right now for the first time under interim head coach Frank Wilson. Frank's set to meet with reporters here in about 45 minutes, roughly, when they get off the practice field. So we'll hear what he has to say. Sean Salisbury joins us as he does every Tuesday. Great to chat, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, Matt. How are you, buddy?
Busy. Let me start with a reaction, man, to the Brian Kelly news.
I think it was expected. I know you and I talked at the beginning of the year about this situation and all the money he made. There's no way. Well, I guess there is way. James Franklin, him, Jimbo Fisher, when they want you out, they want you out. I don't ever like to. It's a tough business. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I just always wonder, Matt, with this situation, it felt like now that you look back, good football coach, has had success wherever he's been, but was it a normal and natural fit when he walked in the building? The answer appears to be no. And one thing about Brian, and we've talked about, knows offense and the rest of it, but the offense, when you know offense and that's your baby, and obviously with his coordinator going as well, when you're the head coach and they look there and you say, well, why isn't that thriving, especially with a quarterback that was expected to be the top 10 pick and may still be, depending on what goes on between now and then. But I think the one thing, if you're going to be abrasive and quite frankly at times alienate players and possibly coaches at times, and Brian's had a history of this, of when he leaves the building, it's rare that I hear people singing his praises. I've never played for him. I know him, but I don't know in depth with him because I haven't spent a lot of time with him. But I rarely hear people singing praises about him, about how he treats them. And if you're going to be average, and they're below average this year, this is a very overrated football team right now. And for whatever reason, if you want to call it injuries, if you want to call it lack of production, coaching problems, lack of buy-in, lack of leadership, whatever, is that if you're going to have it like that, the abrasiveness, which I'm from that era of abrasive, but you also got to be able to adjust and understand your personnel if you're Brian. It doesn't bother me, but it apparently will bother some of them. If you're going to be that way, you better win, and you better win a lot. And, Matt, I'll ask you this question. I was thinking about this not just with him, but I think about this with coaches, with all the money we pay them now. When a player in the NBA or Major League Baseball or NIL or college football or NFL signs a new big contract and struggles, what's the first thing we say? Fat and happy.
Yeah, got paid.
Got the got paid. On, yeah. Got the bag. A little lackadaisical, a little too casual. Whether it's true or not, that's the perception. When money comes and struggle. Now, Brian's been paid other places, but when he got this gig, why don't we ever look at maybe a James Franklin, maybe a Brian Kelly, or anybody else, whether it's 5 million, 10 million, whatever it is, and think that aren't coaches allowed? I mean, not allowed, but don't they get, we just assume with coaches, oh, they're tough guys and they're mentally tough. They would never take for granted the money that comes in their way and get too comfortable. Are we sure of that? Because I'm watching a lot of college football and NFL Sundays that I see a lot of lack of buy-in. There's worse than there is good all over Saturdays and Sunday, littered. the lack of mechanics, the lack of consistent execution, the up and down one week, you're good the next week, the consistency. And so I'm saying, well, if the players are lacking consistency, is something missing on the practice field? Is something missing from the coaching, the disconnect? And it's hard on coaches. We don't have relationships anymore. You get a guy, you bench him, he transfers. You come in, the guy gets more money. He goes to Michigan before he's even set foot on campus. You get a coach, he comes in, oh, this is my dream job, and 2 years later, he's got his other dream job. So the crisscross and the back and forth, we don't have relationships. When I was playing the relationship with John Robbins, he was like a second dad to me, although I always knew that it was, if you weren't playing well, I could still bench you. Yet, even if he did that, you loved him and want to run through a wall for him. I always say this, if you want to know how a coach has treated his players or how they feel about him, go talk to the guys that aren't playing. Go talk to them. Go talk to the guy who transferred. Is he still like it? Go talk to the quarterback who struggled and got benched or maybe got his job back, not just the starters who are thriving. So in this case, I think it takes a unique guy to be the head coach at LSU, and I mean that as affectionate and positive. I think you have to understand the culture there, not only at LSU, but the community. I think it was square. Now that I look back, square peg, round hole. Brian belongs more at the University of Wisconsin, at Notre Dame, at Penn State, just with where it is. It's just the way it is. And we are at that point in time that if you can't, with player empowerment, win them over. I didn't say kiss their rear end. I said win them over and get buy-in. You can't sustain great play. He had great players there. There is no excuse. Well, it's LSU. We don't give you got everything at your disposal. So why can't coaches, or why don't we just give coaches the hard time we give players when they get paid? How do we know all of them are always buying in 100% of the time? And how do we know they're all in 100% of the time? Don't they get a little comfortable too and fat and happy? Brian Kelly had to go. The LSU needs a change up, and it had to happen.
So they've also fired Joe Sloan.
Yep.
They got a week and a half now to get ready to go play in Tuscaloosa, and Alex Atkins is going to call plays. Former offensive lineman, run game coordinator. That's his background. How much can changing the OC matter in the final four games?
Not much. How much can change when a head coach and interim coach comes in? Like we've talked about in the NFL, usually those guys get fired. And there will be a new LSU head coach, even if this guy goes 4-0 and they average 450 yards a game and they win 35-7 every week. He will not be the next head coach. So they're going to have three coaches in a month and a half. That's just the facts. I mean, unless the AD and all of a sudden says, let's try this. Let's go on the cheap. We can get this one for $4 million or $3 million a year. He did a good job. The players seem to buy it. But even if he gets a ton of buy-in, and he very well may. One thing I know about guys who coach offensive line and have that background, players will do anything for them usually. They will, even if they're not coached by that position. They're just a different cat. Now, what he's about to face is something, and Matty, you tell me, I don't believe he's called plays at any point in time in his career, correct? At college, at any high level, correct?
So Frank, So Frank Wilson is the interim head coach. Alex Atkins is going to be the OC.
No, I'm talking about the coordinator. Yeah. Frank's the head coach. But I'm talking about, I was separating both. I said, when you're the interim head coach, he's going to be out. And I should have broke down when the play caller is an offensive line background.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is the head coach, Frank, is not going to be the head coach in 2020. So regardless of what happens. And with an offensive line coach coaching, people buy into those guys because they know they go to war with them.
Right.
To battle with them.
So Alex Atkins has been a play caller. He was a play caller at Charlotte, and then he was the OC at Florida State under Norvell. Okay.
But he didn't call the plays at Florida State.
I think they shared play calling duties. Maybe 1 year on, and then 1 year was Norvell.
So to answer your question, can it change? Philosophy can. I don't know if production can.
Okay.
I mean, offensive line. Now, when we say can production, I'm talking about quantum leaps. They are who they are. Now, if he gets into a rhythm and there is a commitment to running the football and they move the line of scrimmage, because it goes back to the physicality. Are they good enough to push the line of scrimmage and dominate the line of scrimmage? Regardless of the play calls are all fine and dandy. I can tell you this, Jimmys and Joes are far better than the X's and O's. They just are. You can have the greatest play call in the world, and if guys don't buy into it, set up for the right defensive structure, and you run a play and they don't believe in it, you'll have trouble executing. I've also been in a huddle where guys said, man, the play call comes in And then you look at the defense and you're sitting there at the line of scrimmage. Oh, well, let's call it and run it where we don't want to audible. And it's 3rd and 3. And they got a 6-man, 7-man front. And we got 5 to block them. And they bring their own BYOB, bring your own blocker. And you get the first down because the attitude was, we love the play call here. Let's go do it. So that part can change. But I rarely see, oh my gosh, wow factor changes because you've been in the building. And how much can you change? Commitment to something. But you're not going to change verbiage and all that stuff at this stage. Right. It'll just be, okay, we need to run the ball more. We need to max protect more and keep Nussmeier upright. We need to throw it more on first down, run it more on 3rd and 5, whatever their philosophy. Can it change? Sure. And maybe for LSU, there can be quantum leaps because we haven't seen the explosion of their offense on a week-to-week consistent basis 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row. So while changes, it's really hard to teach the mechanics of a position and to completely 180-degree flip your philosophy. But what happens in this situation, if you didn't like what was going on as a player, and buy in again, I use it all the time, that an attitude change, results can change. Because it looked to me like this was a team that didn't believe they were going to beat many people watching them the last couple of weeks. And having an offensive line coach with that background who has called plays, and now that you brought it up at Florida State and where he was before. So this isn't some guy that's like, well, I know X's and O's, but this is my first time getting to a rhythm. So that'll be fine. And Frank as head coach has, been a coach for, has been a coach in the league and has seen every aspect. But you're there you're auditioning for your next gig and to hope you make a huge impact that they'll at least interview you. But they're going to go after a big money guy like they do and a guy that's got name value, regardless of what happens the rest of the season, in my mind.
He's Sean Salisbury. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Make sure you check him out on YouTube as well. It's Unpaved. Sean, I want to ask a follow-up, one more on the offense. Let me break so we stay on time, but I want to ask you about Garrett Nussmeier because there have also been some rumblings about possibly making a change there and giving Michael Van Buren a shot. I want to get Sean's take on that, and then we'll talk about Tyler Shough, quarterback changes everywhere. Tyler Shough getting the start this weekend for the New Orleans Saints. It's after further review. More Sean Salisbury next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Thinking of selling your home? You need to call Darren James because Darren James will sell your home fast for the most amount of money. You want to make sure you walk away with as much as possible at closing? You want Darren James. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. One more time. Agent225.com. That's the website for Darren James. Darren has his guaranteed sale program. Hire Darren. You're going to sit down. You agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price, by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash or he'll sell it absolutely free. There is no catch. Call Darren today and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. You need to sell your home. You need Darren James, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I always appreciate Sean Salisbury for hanging out with us. We do it every Tuesday. Talk a little football. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Make sure you get him there. Subscribe to Unpaved there on YouTube. You get the link through Sean's Twitter as well, at Sean Unfiltered. Sean went to break. I wanted to ask, we were talking about could the NOC change sort of stimulate this LSU offense over the final month. What about quarterback? As I understand it, there has been some talk over the weekend, learned internally, that there are some coaches on staff that would like to see a quarterback change and Michael Van Buren given a shot. To be very clear, I do not know if that's going to happen. I'm comfortable saying that I know there are coaches on staff who want that to happen. Could that make a difference?
Maybe. And Matt, you know of my affection for Nussmeier and his grind and his competitiveness and all those things that I probably don't even need to qualify. But are they getting better? That's what and I know we can all, and unfortunately at this position, we could say, well, they're not blocking for him or they're not running the ball or the coach got fired, the coordinator got fired. Let's see what happens there. And that may be the case. They may say, let's go and see if the change sparks him and the group. But what happens is that's part of the responsibility you take at the position. It sucks. It's great when it's going good, but they all look to you to make the guard better and make the wide receiver better. Whether that's fair or not, it's not fair. and that's just the way it is. But so I also ask, if I'm a coach, are we getting better? And you're seeing it with the Saints, and I know we're going to talk about in a second.
Yep.
This offense has taken a step back for whatever reason this year. And when you're the quarterback, and I can speak to it because I was there, highly recruited, you get injured a couple times, played well one year, the next year played pretty good, and then you're going and things aren't going well. My senior year, coming off an injury, a blown out knee, and rehab it, come in that year, start off, things are going pretty well. By the end of the season, last 2 games, you get benched. Rodney Peete came in, and that was it for me. And, I was there, but Rodney Peete, so I've lived it. And there were some that still wanted me to play, but they needed a spark. And in truth, they should have. There was time because I'd gone through the lull, and I just hadn't got back into that rhythm for a couple games. We were getting ready to play a rival and had been banged up, and Rodney waited an opportunity, and we needed a guy who had better movement. And Rodney had a great career. And at the time, it stings, and Rodney's one of my best friends. They should have made the move. And I'll fight it. I didn't think at the time, but
Right.
you know what? We need a spark, and it gave him one. He played pretty damn well, and the rest is history for his career. So at SC, so I got it. Then you get rejuvenated to get yourself better or whatever. And it's not that you lost talent; it's just you get caught in a funk. We've all been there. It's like having having the yips when you're putting. It happens. So looking back, it was the right move. And as much as I hate to say it, the question is, while loyalty, all that matters, the bottom line is, are we doing what we need to do? And it starts there. It just always does, whether it's him or not. So I believe it's okay to make a change and see. Doesn't mean it's a lifetime sentence, and it doesn't mean it's the rest of the year. But spark is a must. People kept telling me Russ Wilson. I said, let me tell you what, they should have started Jackson Dart from the beginning. A different spark. You and I've had the conversation, and he gave it to them, and they're better. So doesn't mean Russ Wilson isn't good. And it doesn't mean Nussmeier. But I have lived exactly what Nussmeier's going through. Higher expectations coming in. We're powerhouse, and you're going to be a top pick. Next thing you know, things aren't going well. And the first place you have to look is coach and quarterback. Even if the offense is struggling or the defense is struggling, well, the quarterback's got to score more. That's just how we look at it in society. I would anticipate that room is divided, and I'm sure it was when I was at the end of my career at SC, and it's divided a lot of places. You know what? The loyalty is to the football team, not to the quarterback. And you can't worry about hurting people's feelings. They need a spark. And if the change works, we see it all the time. It may be the change they need to salvage what's left of a season, which doesn't diminish or shrink Nussmeier's career or how good he can be. And it may be a kick in the rear end to everybody else and him. If it can happen to him, it can happen to any of us.
It's a good transition to talk about the Saints, where they've announced Tyler Shough is going to start Sunday at the Rams. They're 1-7, man. Is this the right time, the right move?
Yeah, it is. You got to see.
Yeah.
You got to see it. And once again, it applies to Rattler. Hell, the guy's 2 years into his career. He's seen failure and success. He should be able to handle the benching. Why? It's hit him before. And so while you don't like it, you're more equipped to handle it when it comes back around. And how you deal with it's not just the benching. Now, what's he do to deal with it, just like he did when he was in college and lost his job there and ended up transferring? Sure. How's he going to deal with it? That's the test of what the next level of his career is. But it's time. They're 1-7. Tyler didn't play great when he came in. He didn't play good. He played okay and made mistakes, looked like a rookie quarterback. Yeah. But now he's going to get the reps and get a chance to work with the first team and come out of the tunnel. It has to happen. And once again, haven't played it, know how difficult it is to be good, but I also understand the benching. I also understand the starting. We're not in the feel-good business, and right now the Saints are pretty putrid. They are not very good offensively. They do not, while it's not just him, look at the numbers. If you look at the numbers, didn't look at the wins and losses, that guy's worthy of more starts. We've had the conversation, but at what point in time are you going to find out where you got to go? Now you get the second half of the season. If Tyler plays good or does what Rattler does, then you're going to face with the decision the next 3 months after the season to say, okay, we're going to be picking high. What are we doing? But I can't go into next year. I could if it's 7-1 or 5-2, not knowing who Tyler Shough is, and wouldn't matter. Sit down like the rest of us and wait your turn. Rattler's playing great, but it's not. And so you got him there. You got to make a change. Once again, that's where we go first. And I got to know, especially at 1-7, what are we going to look like next year? If we go 1-7 the next 8 games, and he's playing average, sometimes good, then you got to decide our future's not on this roster. it's got to be somebody else. And maybe it is. And you just say, well, we still need more. We got to have better players around him. Fine. But this decision has to happen. You have to see if you can get spark. It's odd that it's happening in the same area, in the same state with two teams that I know that the LSU had higher expectations. So I got to see what he's about, Matt. I just do. And feelings be damned. Unfortunately, nobody really cares about those when it comes to making decisions because LSU wants to win and so does the Saints. Tyler Shough has to play. This is the right decision to see if you can get spark. You owe it to the team. It's always them first. It has to be when you are making these decisions, not to the individual. You just can't do it that way.
Sean, the Saints are awful. Like,
yeah, they are.
Their offensive line is not good. You lost your starting center. You're void of playmakers, and you're shopping them also your receivers right now with the trade deadline in a week. Like, yep. I don't think they're not going to win a damn thing with Tyler Shough. My question, though, is, so that being the case, what actually would be something you would look for to say, like, some tangible thing to say, okay, we think they're making progress with Shough that wasn't there with Rattler? Because I don't think it's going to be materially different in the win-loss record.
It's not. And that's what and if you get a couple, great. If you steal one or two, because they're an awful football team right now in a lot of ways. And the fire sale part of it is if they can ship off salaries and get somebody and start to accumulate Oklahoma City for basketball, Houston Rockets in the past assets, so they got 25. I'm overdoing it, a little hyperbolic. Then they're going to do it because they're a hard watch on the eyes. They just are. And what you have to, and this is where the expertise of whether it's a front office or Kellen Moore or the staff is going to, it's the old forest through the trees. Even though, and we see this sometimes, a team will go in and you'll say, well, wins and losses, we may not be very good, but a couple things I want to see. How are we responding to the ass kickings? How are we dealing with it every week in our preparation? Knowing. And then can you see with Tyler, are we going to be able to see, okay, had this have been different, his decision was right. You're looking, listen, production's not going to elevate through the roof. They're just not good enough. So you're starting to say, okay, if we're not looking at the production and wins and losses, are we seeing, okay, in this decision, he made a good decision, threw it to the right guy dropped it. He understood what audible check to get to, but he missed the throw.
Okay.
I'm looking for the deeper dive of, there's not a lot of mechanical changes you can make during the season. You're just trying to put a game plan in and survive. And he knows going in that he's going to have to survive. Now, he's probably thinking, I'm going to go in the raw, I'm going to get after it, and we're going to go. And every quarterback has the confidence to say, I'm going to be the reason why it changes. And if you don't, I don't want you to play anyway. So it's not going to be in the win-loss column. It's not going to just be in yards per game. It's going to be in how you handle, and quite frankly, in this, how you handle what you're about to face. And that's going to be a lot of duress. It's going to be a lot of adversity. It's going to be a lot of angst. It's going to be a lot of misses. It's going to be a lot of playing catch-up. How he deals with that. And it sucks for Saints fans and for him and the team trying to figure it out. But as a coach, knowing you're not very good and you're going to get a little hall pass from your front office,
sure,
you're looking to say, okay, this is behind those closed doors when they talk, this is a good test. I want to see, because this is the worst of times if you're a quarterback. Can't block, can't run it, can't throw it very well, not a lot of big plays, and you're shipping from players off. And it may get worse because you may trade some good players for assets down the road. So if you're Shough, your thought is, don't get us beat with my decisions mentally. 2 is show them I can handle getting my rear end handed to me. We've seen it before. Get sacked 11 times like Aikman did early on and keep delivering the football and stand in there. Because in the long run, as Dan Fouts told me, your leadership is not by 450-yard passing games. It's by what are you doing when you put your foot in the ground and stare down a rush, deliver the football instead of bail out and cower out of it and get hit in the mouth and deliver the football. Those guys up front, it changes their thought process. And so those are the things you're looking for. And I know myself, I'm judging a lot harder as a coach when it's bad. When it's good, we can all play. Hell, all of us are good. When it's bad. So and Shough's going to face it in a tough situation. It could end up being a really good thing for him, because what do you got to lose? Another game. What do you got to gain? Well, you can turn into, I don't want to say a hero, but turn into somebody they say, we're not drafting a quarterback next year. Yeah. We saw enough of his grind to tell him that he can move forward with this.
Saints are a 13.5-point dog in LA.
That's like being a 35-point underdog in college on Saturday. That's what it's like.
By the way, the Saints are also 24th in the NFL in scoring defense. They're just an awful football team, but at least a reason to be interested this weekend looking at Tyler Shough make his first start. He's Sean Salisbury.
Yeah, I feel bad for all those guys because I've lived it, brother. Not on bad teams like that, but I've lived it where you're just struggling and you can't make a 3-foot putt unless it takes 3 putts. And, but you learn a lot about teams and players through all this and coaching staffs as well.
Hey, man, I've done that 3-foot putt 3 times thing, too. I've lived that life.
Dude, well, I'll see you and I'll raise you one. I've 4-putted from 8 feet, so I know all about it, brother. I know what that's like.
You're the best, man. Thanks so much for the time, as always. We
appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Of course. That's Sean Salisbury. I'll get him at Sean Unfiltered. And make sure you're subscribed on YouTube to Unpaved. Just incredible insight. So lucky to have him join us every week here on AFR. Hey, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. Tell you all the time, if it's on the lot, it's online at SouthPointVW.com. So you can go look at new or certified pre-owned inventory. Just go to the website. There's new or used. You just hit search inventory right there. Like the certified pre-owned, for example, it's not just Volkswagens. I mean, think about it. People go and they buy their new vehicle, so they trade in their old vehicle. Yeah, I mean, they got a great selection of certified pre-owned Volkswagens, but it's all different makes and models. Like I'm looking right here at the website. There's a 2021 Audi Q3. There's a 2020 Nissan Pathfinder, a 2022 Toyota Camry, all different makes and models. A 2020 Subaru Outback. Go check them out right now. New or certified pre-owned at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, y'all, by the way, Frank Wilson's media availability got moved up to 5 p.m., so it should be done. Let's check and see, Muse, if we can. It was supposed to be 5:45. Apparently, they got off the practice field early and moved up the availability. A little lighter work day today. So we'll comb through it, see if Coach Frank had anything, what of note he had to say, and we'll dive into that as we continue here. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
I love having the opportunity every day to endorse great businesses and great business owners. And I've always believed that, in my role, you pick good businesses to endorse. They'll do great work for your people. And then you have this amazing symbiotic relationship. And, Duplessis Builders with Derek Duplessis, I love telling you about him because he's a local guy, does amazing work, and sincerely wants to do right by people. If you haven't seen it yet or entered, Derek's giving away a pool as part of the Dream Pool Sweepstakes. All you have to do is donate a minimum of $25 to Dreams Come True of Louisiana, and you're entered to win a free pool from Duplessis Builders. I mean, it's amazing generosity to help raise money for children with terminal or life-threatening illnesses here in Louisiana. It's the Dream Pool Sweepstakes with Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. Well, she ain't into cars or pickup trucks, but if it runs...
Today is the first day of a new era of LSU football. Frank Wilson led LSU in their first practice as the interim head coach of the Tigers. Coach Frank met with reporters just a bit ago. They're off the practice field. Unfortunately, obviously, with media availability being at 5 o'clock, I wasn't there. We'll see if we can get a hold of
Frank's still going.
Oh, he's still going?
He's still going.
We're still talking.
Wait a minute. I think it just ended. Okay, never mind. Like the live stream just ended as I clicked over to it.
All right.
I'll do what we talked about in the break.
All right. We'll see if we can get Cobble on the phone. Looks like he was there. See if we can get some insight into. It must have been a long press conference. I mean, that's. There's 22 minutes ago. It's a long press conference. I mean, usually the post-practice pressers are 7-10 minutes long. So it's a long press conference. All right, so we'll see if we can get an update there from Cobble. We're going to spend a lot of time over this next month talking about the future of LSU football. I understand there's 4 games to play, but there's an inevitability that when you fire a coach, you are punting the season. In some respects, you could argue the contrary. Say if you had kept the coach, you're punting the season. This injects some life and maybe has a chance to finish strong, and I agree with that. But you realistically understand you're at this point where you fired the coach for a reason. So we'll see what they're able to do over the remaining four games. But most of our conversation over the next month is going to center around who's going to be the next coach at LSU. Frank Wilson has a great opportunity here to be the head coach for 4 games in an era where culture, buy-in from players, recruiting, navigating this structure means more than it ever has. I mean, the coach that you had won 300 games as a college football head coach. 100 more than the next closest active coach. Like, he's a good coach. He knows how to do it in a former era. This era, he struggled, like a lot of guys have. Brian Kelly did. Like Nick Saban didn't want to do it anymore. Like Mike Gundy and Dabo have struggled. I mean, that's part and parcel with how this goes. Now, it's not an age thing. Kurt Cignetti's 64. He's nailing it at Indiana. So it ain't just because you're in your 60s. You have to have an ability and a willingness to do it this way. So Frank's got a great opportunity. But we're going to hear a whole bunch of other people mentioned. A couple of coaches that met with reporters this week and were asked about it. One was John Sumrall at Tulane, and he met with reporters Tuesday for his press conference, and he was asked about being linked to the LSU opening. And we ran through some odds yesterday where Sumrall actually has the top. He is the betting favorite to be the next LSU coach. Now, take that for what it's worth, but it's certainly a consideration. Here was Sumrall.
I don't know. I mean, it's the world we live in.
You got a job to do, you got to ask that question. I got a job to do, it's to coach the Tulane football team. I've dealt with it every year as a head coach. I understand it comes with the territory. I get those questions because we're having success. That's about our players. And the coaching carousel to me is not even a thought because we're in the mid-season phase. So whatever somebody else wants to do, another program wants to do, what people want to speculate, they're free to do that. UTSA has my 100% focus. Our team playing the best it can has my 100% focus.
All right. And the denial scale, Muse, where does that fall?
I'm going with non-denial denial.
That is absolutely a non-denial denial. The non-denial, if you're not familiar, there's the denial, which was Nick Saban saying, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. Right? That's a denial. There's the non-denial, and then there's the non-denial denial, where you deny it, but you're not really denying anything, which is what John Sumrall just did right there. So the old non-denial denial, it'll get you. Listen, the fact that he didn't say it, it's an impossible question for any coach to answer in a press conference. Because what do you want him to say? If he says, I'm not going to be the LSU coach, but then he becomes the LSU coach, he's a liar. If he says that he's interested in being the LSU coach, well, then that's a non-denial. You're saying you're interested. The non-denial denial is not denying it, but by not denying it, but denying it by not denying it, sort of thing. That's the non-denial denial, which you just heard from John Sumrall. I don't know that there's ever a good way to answer those questions, but if you're a reporter, and that's what John Sumrall was saying at the beginning. He's like, I have a job to do, you have a job to do. The job that a reporter has to do in that press conference is say, Coach, you're being mentioned for the LSU job. Would you have interest in this job? If you don't ask him that question as a reporter, you are negligent. You are not doing your job. So I understand the question has to be asked, and I also understand that he probably shouldn't answer it in the way many of us would want. I would love to hear him say, yeah, man, LSU's a great program. I'd love to have that opportunity. But why would he say that? Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State was the other that was asked. And he was asked about both LSU and Penn State being open.
I'm trying to win as many games as I can here. That is my number one focus is our players, our football team, everything about us. That's simple. Like, I am so singularly focused on us to win football games, to become a better football team, this season. Like that's my singular focus.
All right, Muse. I think you're batting 1,000, which is rare for you in anything, but I think you're batting 1,000 in this game. What are we going to call that with Kenny Dillingham?
I'm going to go with another non-denial denial.
You nailed it. That it would, in fact, be a non-denial denial from Kenny Dillingham. Dillingham's 35 years old. He is an Arizona State alum. So he played collegiately at Arizona State. And he's bounced around a little bit from being a high school coach, then an analyst at Arizona State, then to Memphis for a good bit. He spent a year at Auburn as the OC, then went to Florida State where he was the OC in 20 and 21, then went to Oregon for a season as the OC in 22, and then became the head coach at Arizona State. Wherever he's gone, success has followed. He's a bright young offensive guy. He's one of those offensive wunderkinds, and again, a guy that gets this era of football and his second season at Arizona State as the head coach. He brought him to the college football playoff, where they lost in the Peach Bowl, the game against Texas, where they had Texas on the ropes. But in any event, they're 5-3 right now. A little bit of a disappointing start to this season with so much expectation. They lost in Starkville against Mississippi State earlier this year, but Dillingham is another one that's being mentioned. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Hey, Friday is the last day of the deal I've been telling you about. Friday is the last day to take advantage of that Michelin deal. I said 4 new Michelin tires. They're stacking rebates plus a $118 value of free installation when you use your Shaw Bills credit card. That all adds up to $278 off a set of 4 new select Michelin tires. You can get all the deets online at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, or just pop into any of your Shaw Bills locations. Listen, if you need tires, you want to buy the best tires at the cheapest price, you go to Shaw Bills. Tires are a commodity. You can buy a Michelin tire dozens of different places. So go where you're going to get them the best price with the best service. That's always Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. All right, y'all. It is a After Further Review, Tuesday edition powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We got one thing left to do. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks after an 18-inning affair last night. World Series returns. Jimmy's got a pick. How did these two teams get back up after playing 2 games in one? And you got some college football tonight as well. So Otter Locks to wrap up the show next here on AFR.
AFR.
This Saturday, it is the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree at the Clegg's Nursery on Seagan from 8 until noon. Make plans to get by there. If you're interested in buying a tree, planting a tree at your home, wherever it may be, this is the event that you want to be at, the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree at the Clegg's on Seagan. Again, only the Seagan location from 8 a.m. to noon. And remember, with every tree purchased, every Baton Rouge Green approved tree that's purchased, Clegg's will make a donation to the Baton Rouge Green Foundation, to their mission, which is an awesome event, one of the most popular events of the year over at Clegg's. But again, this Saturday, 8 to noon, this Saturday, 8 to noon, the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree only at the Clegg's on Seagan this Saturday, one day only, from 8 until noon. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. We are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Do we have Jimmy?
He's going to call into us. We have a little bit of a phone connectivity there.
All right, Jimmy will call him, get Otter Locks. Do you have a World Series game tonight? Some college football. We'll get to Otter. So while we wait on Jimmy to call, let me remind you about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Inching closer to the holidays, gents. You're a little Cupid over there, thinking of popping the question in the time of Yuletide glee. Yuletide, what is it? Yuletide what? I don't know, something Yuletide. By Yule log. If you want to pop the question around Christmas, go to Lee Michaels. Great selection of beautiful diamond engagement rings, no matter your budget. And 10 locations Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Alexandria. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. If they don't have what you want, they'll find it. If they can't find it, they'll make it. And with the buying power of 10 stores, they're going to get you a great price as well. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter! What up?
What's up, Matthew?
Did you make it through 18 innings?
No. I did wake up to the announcer's call that it going out. So, I was pretty tired. So, it's a reminder too, man. There's been, baseball has always been really stubborn to adjust some of the rules and things like that, more of a traditionalist approach. But my goodness, the approach during the regular season, nobody wants to see 18-inning games during the 162 regular season. So neither team, neither the fans, the broadcasters, nobody. So
I do.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, okay. All right. Well,
I'd rather actually establish a winner instead of like just gifting someone a runner on second base.
Matt, it just kills your bullpen. They're worn out to begin with.
Everybody plays the same rules.
I understand. Guess what? It's not changing for the regular season. So I think the pitch clock and the pace of the game. Listen,
I like that. I like the pitch clock. I agree with you completely.
Yeah, pace of play.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the ghost runner during the regular season.
I bet you love college overtime too, huh? Let's go for 2-point conversions. That'll solve it. Let's not play football. Let's just have why don't we, instead of having an NBA overtime, let's just have a 3-point contest. Let's do a dunk contest to determine winners of games.
There you go. Hey, look, to each his own. So.
Yeah. All right, what are we betting on tonight? Got me in a bad mood now.
Kennesaw State lost the first 2 games of the year, playing up in class a little bit. They've won 5 in a row. They've covered 5 in a row. So 2 teams going in opposite directions right now, UTEP. So the Owls, we had them earlier in a midweek game. We're going to have them again tonight. Yeah. So that's 1 football game. And then,
hey, by the way, that's up to 11. You gave it at 10.5. It's at 11.5. You still like it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
All right. The World Series Game 4 tonight. One of the byproducts of last night's game is, Shohei Ohtani. He did not swing the bat a whole lot in the 9th through 17th innings, but he was cramping up. Now he's going to be the starting pitcher tonight. I just wonder how he's going to be affected tonight. So he's on the mound. As far as I don't think he's going to get really deep into the game. And so we know about that Dodger bullpen. It's been suspect for big parts of the season this year. I'm going to take Toronto at a big price coming back money line. Also, I don't have any specific plays on the props. The kind of under Ohtani, like total outs recorded, maybe under strikeouts, on the mound. So a lot of unders on him, just the carryover effect. You put a lot
Shohei's
on
total
him.
is
He's emotionally drained.
His strikeout total is 6.5. If you go under, it's plus $1.06.
Yeah, I would go under. I would go under total outs recorded. I'm just looking for a shorter outing than usual for a guy. And listen, he's obviously a popular bet on the props. So I think you only have to lay like minus 1,200. That'll be
outs recorded for Shohei over under 18.5.
Man, he's going to get into the 7th inning. I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so.
I'll ride with you, brother. Let's go. Let's get nuts. Let's fade Shohei. Let's fade the worst player in baseball. I'm with you.
He was cramping last night. He's not feeling on a full night rest. Who else is having to do this? So, but I like
I'm with you, man. Let's fade him.
A full 6 innings out of him tonight, they'll be more than pleased. So getting into the 7th inning or completing the 7th inning, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him tonight. So that's what we're going with there. I like that one better than the strikeouts.
I went under on both. I'm getting nuts. I'm fading the worst player in baseball.
1 minute.
Way overrated. Where are you tomorrow?
Snow, seafood, and steak in Gonzales.
All right. Thank you, Otter.
All right, good luck.
All right, we'll see you. Jimmy's fading Shohei Ohtani. That is a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. And I'm stupid enough to ride with. What?
That under 18.5 ounces minus $1.92, man.
Otter's onto something.
That's a lot of juice.
Otter's onto something.
All right.
We got to go. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Shay was here talking Cruton. We talked to Ross Jackson about Tyler Shough, and then we had Sean Salisbury here as well. If you missed anything, catch it on demand podcast or YouTube. Muse Polly, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. See you tomorrow.
After further review,
We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU together, we roar. You know, Our Lady of the Lake is part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. And that is a multi-state health system with hospitals and clinics and specialty centers all over to service you whenever, wherever, however. You know, the thing that we always look for when it comes to our medical care, we want access and we want convenience. And Our Lady of the Lake offers that. And I can tell you firsthand. I'm a member of the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Dr. Kurt Chastain is my primary care physician. Drew has seen so many physicians and specialists over at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Of course, you've got all the Our Lady of the Lake clinics as well. If you need to get in and get out quickly, there's the lake after hours. So many different ways that Our Lady of the Lake is here to serve you, just like they serve LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.